Hey folks, in today's video, we're back in the workshop and we're upgrading the 5010 some more. In last week's video, we took off the SRAM Eagle cassette and replaced it with an E13 TRS Plus 12-speed cassette. This week, we're going to be doing the derailleur and the shifter and the chain, and we're going to Shimano XT. So we've got a few good things to put on the bike today. So this is the Shimano XT 12-speed chain. This is a directional chain, so I'm looking forward to checking this out. You can kind of see from the logos on here, it's got 126 links. It comes with a quick link. It's meant for trail, XC, enduro. It's e-bike compatible. I don't really know what that battery one looks like, but good stuff. All right. So here we have the XT derailleur. From the side of the box, you can see that this is the 1x12 speed with a max of 51 tooth. I've only got a 46 tooth on my cassette, so that's not a problem. But we've got the Hyperglide Plus. We see it's made for trail, XC, and enduro. And here we have the Shimano XT shifter. We can see by the side of the box, this is the 12 speed. It has a Rapid Fire Plus. And it has the multi-release, so you can quickly move up and down your cassette. Some of these icons, we've got Trail, XC, and Enduro, OptiSlick, and a couple other interesting stuff on here, but we'll check it out and we'll open the boxes now. Okay. So you get the fancy black and gray box when you get the XT level. So here we have the XT shifter with the cable. Put that down like that. We also have some instructions. We have cable housing, and we have some looks like some different end caps pieces. So cool. So you look at this shifter, it's a nice feel. It's nice weights. You have, the grippier, this is definitely a little rubber grip on this paddle. This paddle is just a hard, but it's got the groove there. And you have the ability to push both directions. And you push and you lock on. So we'll get this installed and check it out. All right, so here we have the derailleur. And this box is simply just a derailleur and some product information. So here we have the XT derailleur. One thing that was kind of interesting that I've heard this is that this is kind of, if you notice, let's see if it's easier looking at it this way. You can kind of see that this is the jockey wheels are a little bit off kilter. And I'm curious to see how this looks on my bike and how this works with this. Hopefully it will help keep this a little bit out of the way and not worry about bending too much. So I'm sure a lot of you are probably thinking, Brian, why would you ever get rid of SRAM Eagle off your bike? That's amazing technology, and it shifts great and has wonderful, great feel to it. For those of you who have been around for a while, you know that my old bike, the Santa Cruz Bantam, I had upgraded that bike to be completely an Shimano XT build. So that bike had XT brakes, XT shifter, derailleur, 11 speed. And I loved it. It shifted great. I had no problems with it whatsoever. And this was my first full SRAM. This is my first full SRAM build with guide brakes and GX Eagle drivetrain. And for the most part, I've had issues with shifting on this bike since day one. One of the first things I ever did with this bike was call Veloflex to come out and take a look at my shifting, because it didn't feel right. It was a little bit off. They ended up finding that the cable was twisted and they replaced that. But it's always been something. So I've had the housing replaced. I've had the cable replaced. This is my second derailleur on this bike. I always had issues. I replaced 2 different derailleur hangers, and one of them I don't think it was actually crooked. I started messing around with it and I broke it. One of them I think was needed to get replaced because I just trying to put a new fresh one on and see if that fixed the issue. It didn't. So I'm going to try and have Shimano on this build and just see how it works. It still has an E13 cassette, so it's not going to be all Shimano perfect shifting, but really looking at the expense of changing out the hub to use the micro spline is a little bit too expensive for my taste. I mean, the cassettes aren't that bad. I think you can get a $150 for a XT cassette, which is a good deal. Still a little heavier than the GX cassette, but still, it's not that, you know, it's not price-wise. There's a little bit. It's price-wise. Price-wise, it would make sense. But the cost of popping out the microspline, well, the cost of getting rid of my XD driver and replacing it with the microspline driver, I think I was looking at, for this is an i9 torch hub, I think I was looking at $150 for that change, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna hold off on that. I want to see if this cassette works, and if I'm happy with this cassette, I'll stick with it. If I'm not, we'll find out. At the very least, you know, in August sometime, I probably will do a follow-up video on this entire drivetrain change and have more opinions after I've been riding it for a while. So when I had this cable changed out last, the shop had lost this piece, and they gave me a crappy piece to fill in. And I heard one of the other mechanics say, "Why don't you just tape that, cover it with tape?" Well, unfortunately, this little piece here fills in a pretty big hole in the frame, and it's probably gonna be easier to pull out. But that I can't, you know, it's pretty rude, and I didn't really like that service from what I got from those guys. So it's pretty disappointed. So I do have a, what I call it, the derailleur breaker, and so I can test and see, okay, is my derailleur actually straight, and the hanger. So that's not really a concern so much. This thing is looking perfect. So I know it's not the hanger that's been causing the issues, it's something else. Okay, since you can see, I finally got the shifting to working, and it's still the same day, so I'm wearing the same shirt. It was a little bit of personal error and sizing a chain and getting the tension right on the cable. That was a little tricky for me, but I'm pretty happy with it. It is definitely shifting a lot better than it was before. I'll probably get out and try a couple rides this weekend just to see how it goes. Probably not going to be doing any trail riding because of the weather, but I'll get out and just give it a spin and see how it runs. This is video 2 in the removing SRAM from the bike in my upgrades. I've got another thing coming in the mail that we'll see when it gets here, when I do a video on it, but it's a small thing, so it's not. It's just another item that's going to be just another area for upgrade on the bike. But thanks for watching. Let me know are you running SRAM Eagle? Are you running Shimano? Are you still on 11 speed? Have you tried box? Let me know what you guys are using. I'm curious to see if anyone else is using anything else that's, you know, other than the GX or whatever came on your bike stock. So leave a comment. Talk to you later. Have a good one.